Hello and welcome back to another one of Paul's beer reviews, and this is an exciting one. It is that time of the year again. I'm not talking about Christmas, I'm not talking about Halloween, I'm not even talking about Oktoberfest. I'm talking about Fuller's Vintage release time. It is the 2nd of October today, and just under 2 weeks ago Fuller's released the 2023 Vintage Ale, coming in at 8.5% ABV. They release this every year around this time, just as autumn kind of kicks in and the festive season starts to approach. They knock out a vintage, and generally they're absolutely glorious. And I've got a bit of a collection of them. I tend to buy 2 at a time, one for drinking and sharing with you guys, and the other one I age. And the plan is to go back and revisit them down the line when the time seems right. So we've got the 2023 version here. And I'm going to share this one with you, let you know what you guys think. It's on the Fuller's website now. It's gone up £1 this year. It's £7 a bottle, but for an 8.5% vintage ale, I don't think that's too terrible, to be honest. Waitrose normally sell these. I don't know if it's available there yet. Fuller's will tend to sell them exclusively first for a little while. So if you don't want to go to the Fuller's website and order one, you can wait, and Waitrose will be stocking them. So yes, what does it say about this one? Vintage ale. It says, as with every vintage ale, this beer is brewed to mature over time, bottle conditioned, a natural sediment will form, store upright and pour carefully. While we always put a best before date on this bottle, the flavours will continue to mature and develop for many years after that. So, a bit annoying, they haven't actually said anything about this year's batch. It's just the usual spiel that they put on the bottle, which is a bit of a shame. So, I'm going into this one blind, essentially. There is the classic Griffin Brewery logo on the bottle cap. As ever, it came in a red cardboard box. Carbonation bubble there, look at that. Cool, that is lovely. I'm going to pour this in my beautiful Fuller's pint glass with the Thames running around the bottom of it. This cannot wait to get out, so I'm going to pour it because I ain't losing a drop of this. But I'm expecting a ruby coloured ale, red tones, caramel, fruit, booze. There might be sort of barley wine elements to this. I mean, it looks fantastic already. I mean, that looks like a Fuller's Vintage Ale, doesn't it? It looks like a Fuller's ESB. People who watch this channel regularly will know that I'm a massive Fuller's fan. ESB is one of my all-time favourite beers. Fuller's are one of my all-time favourite brewers. And whenever they release the vintage, I cannot wait to get stuck into it. As we can see it, there she is. That is exactly what you expect from a Fuller's Vintage. That beautiful ruby chestnut colour. Good levels of carbonation on this one. It's a lively one. It looks fantastic in the Fuller's glass. That there is theatre. I love that. It has got a very slight half finger, very much white head on it. Let's get me snouting, see what the aromas are saying. Oh, certainly barley wine vibes. That is fruity. Touch of licorice, blackcurrant, strawberry. It's like a sweet berry aroma. It smells boozy. It reminds me of the Golden Pride aroma. If you haven't had Golden Pride before, that's a regularly all-round available beer. I would say the Vintage Ale is probably closest to the Golden Pride, but they use like a different hop variety, I believe, every year with this. So it's always slightly different. But yeah, there is dark fruit, a touch of tobacco, a bit of licorice. It's a very complex aroma. I cannot wait to get stuck in. So let's do that, shall we? Cheers. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. As soon as it hits your tongue, you're greeted by sweet dark berries and booze. Light-bodied, touch of carbonation. It tastes like a cask beer from a bottle. There's always something I do. I can't remember the last time I actually had a pint of the Vintage. I think unless you go to the Griffin Brewery in Chiswick, you're unlikely to find it. I was at the parcel yard at King's Cross the other day, hoping they might have a keg of vintage in. No luck, unfortunately. I think your best bet is to go to the Griffin Brewery. But, oh, wow. So yeah, it is fruity. It is boozy. There's like red wine elements to it. Only a touch, mind you. I'm not the biggest red wine fan in the world. It's warming. It's almost a slightly medicinal flavour, like a cough medicine type thing. It reminds me of, but it's very rich. And there is a lovely, lovely, subtle bitterness at the back end of this one. And it's more tobacco-esque. Like I've taken a toke on a big cigar about 2 minutes ago, but you can still taste it in the back of your palate, you know. It's almost chocolatey at the back end as well. Chocolatey, tobacco, slightly smoky. Loads of dark fruit. It's rich, it's boozy. Oh, it's gorgeous. Yet, despite all that, and despite the fact it's an 8.5% ale, it is so drinkable. It's worryingly drinkable. Because I know full well I'm going to feel this afterwards. I can already feel the top of my head getting warm drinking this beer. But it is so delicious. It is so beautifully brewed. The conditioning is wonderful. Look at it. Bottle condition. I mean, that's like a cask conditioned beer there from a bottle. That's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful yet again. I often think to myself, what's the best vintage I've ever had? And to be honest, I don't think I would even be able to begin to answer that question, because every time I go back and look at my vintage reviews, I pretty much always come up with the same conclusion. They're all just absolutely stunning. If you've never had a Fuller's vintage, I really recommend you try it. I really do. Even if you're not a fan of big ales, you know, barley wines, things like that. For me, it's an essential purchase every year. I go out pursuing these big craft beers all the time and talking to brewers all the time and buying in beer and trying wonderful craft beers. But this is always the one beer that I have to have. I have to have it, because I know what they're capable of and I know how good it is every year. And this is just another exceptional example. It is glorious. It is light. Very, very light, in fact. Touch of carbonation. Straight away comes some dark fruit, berries, strawberries, black currants. It's like a Christmas pudding flavour about it. It's boozy. It's like something that's been sat for a while. And then at the back end, there is that touch of bitterness, but it's like a tobacco bitterness and a slight sort of herbal hoppiness coming through now. It's almost like it's developing. And this is exactly what it would do. As it warms up, I've got this slightly chilled. It's not cold, it's slightly chilled. And as this warms up, the flavours are going to develop. It's another great thing about these beers. They change as you're drinking them. So I'm going to save the rest of it. But it's a 10 out of 10. It is an absolutely wonderful piece of brewing. Again, from Fuller's. Absolutely glorious. It never disappoints. It never disappoints. Fruity, rich, boozy, lovely tobacco-y, hoppy finish. It's absolutely glorious. 2023 Fuller's Vintage Ale, 10 out of 10. Absolutely wonderful. I've got another bottle which I'm going to age and see what it does. Quite excited to see how it develops. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I thoroughly enjoyed doing it for you. Fuller's website, you can get this now. It will be available in Waitrose at some point in the very near future. Do not miss out. You will be gutted if you do, I promise you. Wonderful stuff. 10 out of 10. Hope you enjoyed the review. Give it a thumbs up. Till the next one. You take care.